And welcome out to Mulcahy Stadium. I guess we're playing some baseball today. I didn't know how either it had been raining since I woke up this morning. So anyway, we're going to play some baseball. We've been waiting about 5 hours or so. I'm Lance Morris. Joining me today, Jackson Beck. I don't know why I agreed to do this either. But the first pitch to Will Bass will miss for ball one. Jackson, how you doing?
Good. How you doing, Lance?
Well, I didn't think we were going to play today, but apparently the weather had some plans to change. So here we are. Next pitch to Will Bass is going to miss inside ball two. 2-0 count to Will Bass on the mound for the Pilots, Trent Lunsford. Bass will take the first one, called strike one.
Lunsford's a junior out of Indiana State University. He had 5 starts and went 1-3 with a 3.16 ERA.
Here's the 2-1. In there, called strike two. 2-2 the count to Will Bass. Today will be a doubleheader, couple of 7-inning games, assuming the weather holds off. 2-2 is going to miss just a bit up there. Ball 3, 3-2 the count. Here comes the 3-2. Nailed down the line. That's a fair ball. Bass going to round first, head for second. Is he going to round second? He will. He's heading to third. Ball just now got into Luke Ritter. Bass sliding into third with a triple, his third triple of the summer. Actually, that's number 2 on the summer. Has 9 doubles. Got confused because he had 2 triples at Wayland Baptist. He now has 2 this summer with the Chinooks. Funny how that works. So that'll bring Mason Mallard up to the plate now for the Chinooks with Will Bass over at third. Hunter Vansaw is waiting on deck. First pitch to Mason. Down and outside, ball 1. Bass gets his lead off of third. Here's the 1-0. That one's fouled back out of play. 1-1 the count to Mason Mallard.
Mallard hitting .218 with 5 doubles and 1 home run. Also another home run in the showcase. Has 13 RBIs and 10 steals.
1-1 the count to Mason Mallard. The 1-1. Breaking pitch is going to miss for ball 2. 2-1. Corners of the infield playing in with the second and shortstop at their normal fielding positions. The 2-1. That one's popped out right field. That one's going to drop harmlessly foul. Makes it 2-2 to Mason Mallard. Mason Mallard up to the plate, 2-2 the count. Will Bass is over at third. We thank you for joining us here for some Chinook baseball. I know it's been quite a while since we've played, dating all the way back to Tuesday night. 2-2 the count to Mason Mallard. Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. He'll go down on strike. That's out number 1. That'll bring Hunter Vansaw up to the plate with 1 down here in the top of the first. A reminder that this will be a 7-inning game due to it being a doubleheader. So Vansaw's up to the plate with 1 down. Here's the first one to him. He's going to foul that one back. Bass over there at third after his triple. Here's the 0-1. Down in the turf. Bass will stay down at third. One and 1 the count to Hunter Vansaw here in the top of the first. Here's the 1-1. Misses down and outside, ball 2, 2-1 the count. Here's the 2-1. That one's popped up out in left field, but it's going to drop in for a base hit. Thought that one was going to be easily caught, but some miscommunication from the outfielders. Chinook strike first. They take the 1-0 lead.
Again, this wetness talking into breaking into what some of these players and their cleats and stuff, getting wet, not getting good reads. One of the factors in why the game was pushed back so far.
So instead of that being just a regular routine fly ball out, that's going to drop in for an RBI single for Vansaw. So the Chinooks have the 1-0 lead. Tim Millard now up to the plate. First pitch to Millard. Taken for a called strike 1. The 1. Going to miss down and in for ball 1. 1 on the count to Tim Millard. One on the count to Tim Millard. Here's the 1-1. Taken for ball 2. 2-1 the count. Here's the 2-1. Lined into right field. That'll be caught on line by Gillette, but he'll try to double up Vansaw first, unable to do so as Vansaw slides back safely. So that'll be out in number 2 here in the top of the first. So that'll bring Aaron Shackelford up to the plate with 2 down here in the top of the first. Chinooks struck first to take the 1-0 lead. First pitch to Shackelford. Outside, ball 1.
Known as Shaq to his teammates now, hitting .286 in the Alaska Baseball League.
Vansaw with the lead over at first. Here's the 1-0. Inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count. Shaq, one of 4 guys from the Masters College on the Chinooks. Here's the 2-0. Vansaw on the move. He'll be in there easily at second for the steal. That'll be his 4th steal on the summer. The 3-0 in there called strike 1. 3-1 now the count to Shackelford. Here's the 3-1. Taken for ball 4. So Shaq will draw the walk, puts runners at first and second for Ethan Whisker. Ethan Whisker up to the plate, runners at first and second with 2 down. First pitch to Whisker, taken for a called strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Misses inside, ball 1. 1 on the count to Whisker. Here's the 1-1. That one's popped up. Shallow part of the infield. That'll be caught by Luke Ritter for the final out here in the top of the first. So I'll do it for the top of the first, but the Chinooks will strike first, courtesy of a little wet ground out there in the outfield. They have the 1-0 lead over the Pilots. And welcome back on out here to Mulcahy Stadium. About to start the bottom of the first inning between the Chinooks and the Pilots. I'm Lance Morris, joined by Jackson Beck, the world famous Jackson Beck, if I do recall.
That is right, Lance Morris.
Kyle Watson up to the plate for the Pilots. To start the bottom of the first, he'll foul one off. On the hill today for your Chinooks, Brody Harris. Here's the 0-1. Just outside, ball one. One of them on the count to Kyle Watson, the shortstop from Ole Miss. Here comes the 1-1. In there, called strike two. 1-2 the count to Kyle Watson. The 1-2. Outside ball two. 2-2 the count. Here's the 2-2. Outside ball three. Then make it a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff man for the Pilots, Kyle Watson.
Watson has some wheels, though, with 19 stolen bases.
And he'll go down swinging for out number 1 here in the bottom of the first. So Sean Kiersey up to the plate now with the 1 down. Here in the bottom of the first, Chinooks on top by a 1-0 score over the Pilots. First pitch to Kiersey. Taken for a called strike 1. Here's the 0-1. Down and outside, 1-1 the count.
Kiersey is a freshman from the University of Utah and hails from San Diego, California.
The 1-1. Hit on the ground towards second. Bass will field it. Harris will have to go over and cover, but he's off the bag. So that'll make Kiersey safe on an error. So the bit of miscommunication there is John Groth is going to come out and argue. Because on that play, Whisker thought it was going to be closer to him, so he went across his body attempting to field it. So that left him out of position over at first base to try and be the first baseman and stay on the bag. So Harris had to rush over there at pretty short notice to try and cover, and they're going to say he did not touch the bag in time, even after receiving the ball. What was your perspective on that, Jackson?
I thought Harris got back in time. He missed the bag at first, but came back and actually got it the second time. That's what Coach Groth was arguing about with the umpire.
And it looks like they're going to rule it a hit, even though I would think you have to rule out an error on somebody.
Definitely an error.
But that brings Joe Gillette up to the plate now for the Pilots. That'll be outside for ball 1 to him. Gillette was one of the Pilots we saw in the home run derby here last week at this very same park. Harris now going to check on Kiersey. He'll get back in time. Kiersey, 8 steals on the summer, but has been caught 7 times. Kiersey faking the steal that time. That pitch will miss for ball 2. And as you can even tell by the webcam, the rain's starting to come down hard once again. I know, you're all surprised based on the weather we've seen today.
I think the umpires and the coaches trying to get at least one of the 2 games in.
Grounded towards Bass at second. Over to second for 1. Back over to first in time. 4-6-3. Double play will do it. So even after Kiersey gets on with a questionable single, to say the least, they get the ground ball double play to end this bottom of the first. Chinooks with a 1-0 lead after 1 here in Anchorage. Here we are to start the top of the second inning. Lance Morris alongside Jackson Beck. Isaac Alvarez, first pitch swinging. He's going to line that to second baseman Luke Ritter. And they tried to make it look like they didn't have it in time, but it was clearly a line drive out. So I don't know why they even faked the throw to first, because you don't throw to the first baseman when it's around the horn.
Normally what happens.
But anyway, so Alvarez will go down for out number one here in the top of the second. First pitch to catcher Ben Hill in there, called strike one. Here's the 0-1. Inside, called strike two. So Hill quickly down in the count, 0-2.
Hill hitting just 133 during the summer.
That'll bounce down into the turf for ball one. 1-2 the count. Hill, the catcher from Olivet Nazarene, has his teammate in Nick Campy, one of the relief pitchers for the Chinooks. The 1-2. And on the ground towards second. That'll be fielded by Ritter. Lunsford gets over to the bag just in time to call out Ben Hill, even though that play pretty similar to the same thing that happened in the bottom of the inning with Harris.
Almost identical.
So that time it'll again go against the Chinooks. The Chinooks 0 for 2 on plays like that in their perspective. So that brings Zach Sanford up to the plate. He'll take ball one low.
Sanford hitting 212 with 2 doubles and a 1 home run and 5 RBIs down the summer.
Here's the 1-0. Outside ball two.
I don't know if you guys can see it, but the rain is coming down hard here in Anchorage. I don't know how much more of this field can take.
The 2-0. Down low ball three. 3-0 the count to Sanford. And Sanford actually was told, I think by his dad or someone in his family, not entirely sure, but that he would get the family Cadillac if he got his average up to 300. He'll draw ball four and get the walk. So he'll have to keep wondering if his batting average will go up. He was told if it goes up to 300, he'll get the Corvette, and he did some calculating and said he had to go 8 for his next 8, I think, to get that average up to that 300 mark.
Which is, it's up there, but it's definitely doable, especially if you get a Cadillac.
That'll bring us back to the top of the order for Will Bass. He'll be first pitch swing and get that guy some pine tar as his bat almost made it entirely out into right field. As Zach says something funny over there at first. The wetness might also have something to do with it, but nonetheless, pine tar needed.
A lot of pine tar.
And that happens to the best of us, especially considering Bass had a triple his last time up as Sanford fakes a steal, even though I think time is called. So we thank you for joining us here from Anchorage. Chinooks up by a 1-0 score. I'm Lance Morris alongside Jackson Beck. Zach Sanford, the runner at first for the Chinooks with 2 down. Bass back into that left-handed batter's box. Here's the 0-1. Up and outside, ball one, 1-1 the count.
Zach and Will, the bromance of the summer. These two are inseparable because I have not seen them apart for more than a day.
That's fouled back towards us. Continue.
These guys, I mean, I haven't laughed so hard in a summer just by their energy, their excitement to learn, their excitement for baseball and each other.
And not to mention that they were the last 2 guys to leave practice yesterday as they were doing a lot of extra hitting work in the cage. Mm-hmm. Sanford on the move. Lunsford's going to stepped off correctly because a balk was not called. So Sanford's in a rundown. And he will be tagged out going to second. So Sanford will go down. That'll do it for the top of the second inning. As Sanford's caught stealing. Chinooks maintain a 1-0 lead going into the bottom of the second. And back we are to start the bottom of the second inning here at Mulcahy Stadium. Chinooks taking on the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Chinooks with the 1-0 lead. I'm Lance Morris. Alongside me is Jackson Beck. First pitch to Tyler Walters, down low, ball one. After Walters, it'll be Nate Eichhoff, the third baseman, and Jack Gerstenmeyer, the first baseman. Here's the 1-0. Outside, ball two, 2-0 the count. Rain looking like it's slowing down a little bit here. But I can definitely still see it coming down. The 2-0. That one's lofted up left side. And Tim Millard will have enough room over there in foul ground. Brings that one in for out number one. St. Eichhoff up to the plate, one down, bottom of the second inning. Pilots trailing the Chinooks 1-0. First one to Eichhoff. Hit on the ground towards second. Bass will field it. Gets it over to Ethan Whisker at first in time, out number two. Jack Gerstenmeyer up to the plate, two down, bottom of the second inning. Chinooks on top, 1-0.
Gerstenmeyer hitting .227, 5 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases through this summer.
First pitch to him inside, ball one. As looked like Alvarez took the time to tie up his left cleat. And that's it on the ground. So good thing Alvarez did tie that cleat. He'll field it. Gets it over to Ethan Whisker at first in time for out number three. So that'll do it for the bottom of the second inning. A really quick inning for Harris on just 7 pitches. So that'll do it again. Chinooks on top 1-0 through 2 here in Anchorage. And welcome back to Anchorage, Alaska, as we start the top of the third inning between the Chinooks and the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Will Bass back up to the plate. He'll try the bunt, but he'll pop that one back foul. Bass was up to the plate in the second, but Zach Sanford was caught stealing, so Bass back up to the plate once again.
Bass third in average on the team, hitting .264 in 129 at-bats.
Here's the 0-1. Thought about that one. Did he go? He did not. That'll be ball one. Bass is his second summer with the Chinooks, so somebody Jackson's gotten to know pretty well over the last couple years. That'll be popped up left side. Eichhoff going over to the fence. He'll run out of room as it'll hit off the clubhouse.
Yeah, definitely. Will has been an enjoyment to hang around for the past 2 summers. He's an energetic little guy, and love hanging out with him.
Here's the 1-2. Just outside, ball 2, 2-2 the count to Bass. Here's the 2-2. Down into the turf, ball 3, makes it a full count, 3 balls, 2 strikes. The 3-2. That'll be down in the turf, ball 4. Bass will hustle to first as that got away from Walters, but he will stay at first after drawing the walk. So that'll bring Mason Mallard up to the plate. Nobody down at top of the third. First pitch to Mallard. Misses for ball 1. Bass gets his lead over first, has 6 steals on the summer. Mallard will swing through that one, just gets a tiny piece of that for strike 1. The 1-1. Catches the outside corner. Called strike 2. Makes it 1-2. The 1-2. Bass on the move. That'll be poked out towards right field. But that is caught by Watson. And Bass is on the move. They will easily double him up for out number 2. Mallard thought he had lofted that one into the outfield. Did not have enough under that. So that'll make it 2 down here in the top of the third.
Bass hung out to dry on that play. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do when you think you can get to second base, and it's a risky jump.
That brings Hunter Vansaw up to the plate with 2 down. First pitch to him, down and outside, ball 1. Vansaw probably the luckiest RBI, at least for him this summer, as it was a ball that was about to be caught, but the outfielder Tanner Sanders just slipped and fell because of the wet conditions here at Mulcahy. 1-1 the count after fouling that one off. Here's the 1-1. Line down the first base line. That'll be brought in by Jack Gerstenmeyer, and that'll do it for the top of the third. So it started off promising, but an unfortunate flyout turns into a double play. Chinooks still have a 1-0 lead as we head to the bottom of the third. Backyard to start the bottom of the third inning between the Chinooks and the Pilot. Chinooks on top 1-0. I'm Lance Morris. Joined alongside me is Jackson Beck. First pitch to Luke Ritter, outside, ball 1.
Ritter, the second baseman out of Wichita State, hitting 174 with 5 doubles, 5 RBIs, and 2 stolen bases.
He'll be swinging and missing at that one. 1-1 the count. After Ritter, it'll be left fielder Tanner Sanders and DH RJ Cordero coming up for the Pilots. The 1-1. Misses just a tad low, ball 2. We thank those of you for joining us here on a wet Sunday afternoon here in Anchorage. Here's the 2-1. Hit back up the middle. Harris will jump up and field that one. He'll get it over to Whisker first in time, out number 1. I'll bring Tanner Sanders up to the plate with 1 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch to Sanders will be foul tipped back for strike 1.
Sanders, a long, lanky guy, 6'4", hails from Corvallis, Oregon. Goes to Oregon State University.
The 0-1 hit on the ground, right side. Whisker will get to it, flips it over to Harris. And this time they will give him the benefit of the call and steps on first in time for out number 2. Brings up RJ Cordero with 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. First pitch to Cordero. Outside, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Catches the outside corner. Called strike 1. 1-1 the count. The 1-1. Down low, ball 2. 2-1.
The Pilots Cordero struggling to find a different base other than first, as he has all of his 9 hits have come on singles.
2-1 the count to Cordero. Here's the 2-1. Catches that corner again, called strike 2. 2-2 the count. Here's the 2-2. Down and outside, ball 3. That'll make it a full count, 3-2 to RJ Cordero, the Pilots' designated hitter. And the 3-2 will be taken low for ball 4. So Cordero will draw the walk. First given up today by Brody Harris. And that brings us back to the top of the order for Kyle Watson. So Watson up to the plate with 2 down. Bottom of the 3rd. Chinooks up 1-0. First pitch to Watson. Swing and a miss for strike 1. Watson struck out swinging his first time up. Harris will check on Cordero at first. He'll get back in time. Harris again get a check on Cordero. Dives back safely. Here's the 0-1. Another swing and a miss from Watson. He'll fall behind 0-2. Going to miss down into the turf for ball 1. One and two the count to Kyle Watson, RJ Cordero, the runner at first for the Pilots. Harris going to check on him. He'll be back in plenty of time. Here's the 1-2. Outside, ball two, 2-2 count. Swing and a miss. Watson goes down on strikes for the second straight time. Second strikeout today for Brody Harris. That'll do it for the bottom of the third. Chinooks maintain their 1-0 lead over the Pilots. And welcome back as we start the top of the fourth inning between the Chinooks and the Pilots. First pitch to Tim Millard, inside, ball one.
Quick shout out to my grandparents, Judy and Dale Beck. I love you guys. Thanks for supporting me and all that I do. You guys are the best.
Millard going to line that one down the left field line. Fair ball. He's going to round first, head for a second. Close play. He'll slide just in time.
Again,
took a head first slide, but he's in there for the double.
The Chinooks benefiting from the rain as the turf's letting Millard slide a little bit more as he looked a little bit gassed.
And for the first time this summer, we're seeing the lights come on here at Mulcahy Stadium, maybe to potentially allow both this game and a potential game two to actually happen. Still remains to be seen, however. That brings Aaron Shackelford up to the plate. First pitch to him will miss outside for ball one. And as you can probably tell from our webcam, still some rain coming down here in Anchorage. The 1-0. Swing and a miss from Shackelford. 1-1 the count. Shaq drew a walk his first time up today.
The rain is pummeling down on this field.
Tries to bunt it up, but that will go back out of play. Landing just a couple feet away from us, actually. Of course, there's some walls and stuff in between. So 1-2 the count to Shackelford, and as Jackson said, rain coming down pretty hard right now. Here's the 1-2. Outside, ball two, 2-2 the count.
When I was in the dugout before the game, a lot of the guys wrapping their bats with tape, trying to get an extra grip with the impending rain that they knew that was coming. Just trying to get more of a feel for the bat, especially with the pine tar.
And I wonder if we'll see a newly taped grip from Will next time he comes to the plate, especially after
Definitely.
flying his bat all the way down towards Kyle, our first base coach. 2-2 is going to be popped left side, just out of play, out of the reach of Eichhoff. The count remains 2-2 to Shackelford. Tim Millard, the runner at second. Nobody down, top of the fourth. Here's the 2-2. That one's fouled back out of play once again. So the count remains 2-2. Here's the 2-2. Down into the turf, ball 3. That'll make it a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Aaron Shackelford. Millard gets the lead off of second. Here's the 3-2. That one's popped out left side. That ball is tailing. That'll be caught in by Deshaun Kiersey. Millard gets tagged from second, slides in safely. So Millard is safe down at third after we hear a little bit of yelling. Couldn't tell exactly who was yelling, but Millard is now over there at third with just 1 down. Jackson, do you have any idea who was yelling?
I have honestly no idea. The Tim Millard, one of the favorites of the team, though. He does get his fair share of heckling.
So it brings Ethan Whisker up to the plate with 1 down. First pitch to him up high, ball 1. Whisker flew out to second his first time up. The 1-0. Down into the turf for ball 2. As the rain continues to fall here in Anchorage. The lights are now at pretty much full capacity. Again, first time we've seen the lights on here all summer. The 2-0. That's fouled back just a little bit by Whisker. Didn't get a whole lot of that. 2-1 the count to Whisker. Chinooks up 1-0. They have a runner at third, though, in Tim Millard. The 2-1. That one's lined down the right field line. That's a fair ball. That'll bring in Millard to score easily. We see the right fielder fumble with it just a little bit, and that's enough for Whisker to advance to second. So that'll be an RBI hit from Whisker. Chinooks take the 2-0 lead. So the Chinooks appearing to take advantage of the rain-soaked outfield, as we've seen both the left and the right fielders struggling to make some plays. First pitch to Isaac Alvarez, down and inside, ball 1. Not surprising that Lunsford wants a new ball, as they're probably getting rain-soaked pretty quickly. Alvarez lined out to second his first time up. The 1-0. In there called strike one on the outer half. A 1-1 the count. The 1-1. That one's lined into short right field. That'll be caught by Ritter on the jump. So that'll be out number 2. That brings up Ben Hill. That brings Ben Hill to the plate with 2 down here. Top of the 4th inning, Chinooks up 2-0.
Ben looking in to drive Ethan Whisker. Standing on second base. Hill hitting just 133 though. Looking to bump that average up, maybe with a base knock here.
First one to Hill down in the turf, ball 1. Here's the 1-0. Inside ball 2. And you got to imagine really hard for especially the outfielders, but also Lunsford on the mound with the balls becoming filled with rain so quickly. He's asked for a new ball seemingly every other pitch or so. 2-0 the count to Hill. Here's the 2-0. Line into left field. That drops in for a base hit. They're going to send home Whisker. Cut off at the, and he'll be just out at the plate. Could have swore he slid in safely. But nonetheless, that'll do it for the top of the 4th. Chinooks add 1 on, almost added on another. They have a 2-0 lead after the top of the 4th. Back we are as it is just straight pouring down rain here in Anchorage. First pitch to Deshaun Kersey, down low, ball 1 as we enter the bottom of the 4th. Chinooks have a 2-0 lead. Could have been 3 if we had seen a different call at the plate on Ethan Whisker last time around.
I do not see this game lasting much longer as the rain is, as they say, coming down in buckets.
And the problem for the Chinooks, aside from the fact that this wouldn't be a complete game, is if it does stop, you have to go back to the top of the inning if it hasn't been completed. So that would mean the run is negated.
And I think what they're trying to do is they're at least trying to get through 5, which for you who do not know, 5 innings does complete a baseball game. So I think that is the goal of this one, and trying to see if they can maybe play a second, which is highly doubtful.
Highly doubtful, to say the least. So that'll miss down and outside to Kersey as he will draw ball 4. So second walk drawn today by the Pilots. And we don't see too many walks from Brody Harris, so I got to wonder how much of that is due to the fact that it's just pouring.
It does mess with the pitcher's the grip on the ball and not feeling the laces as much, and ball spinning off just a little bit more than they need to.
And usually when it rains, it's a soft rain that usually the camera can't even see.
Right.
We can have a look at our camera and see it just coming down.
And if you, I don't even know why they're still playing. This is ridiculous.
So that's in there for a called strike one. I think your hope right now, if you're the Chinooks, is that you can at least get through this inning so that extra run counts.
Right.
Because it doesn't really look like they should be playing right now. Here's the 0-1. Kiersey on the move. Hill has the time, but he's safe at second. So I think that rain gave Kiersey a little extra juice to get there in time for the steal. Because usually we see Ben Hill throw people out.
Definitely. Ben's got a great arm from behind the plate.
1-1 the count to Joe Gillette. Nobody down, bottom of the fourth. First time the Pilots have a runner in scoring position today. Here's the 1-1. Inside, called strike two. 1-2 the count to Gillette as Hill wants to have a quick chat with Harris. And honestly, you got to think that if it wasn't a turf infield, we probably would never have even started this game because
Right.
we've already seen a couple plays in the outfield that were changed because of the rain.
Definitely.
Here's the 1-2. Inside, ball two. Kiersey thought about trying to move from second. Hill wisely changed his mind. So 2-2 the count to Joe Gillette, the right fielder from Oregon State. Two balls, two strikes the count. Nobody down, bottom of the fourth. Chinooks on top, 2-0. The 2-2. And that's launched out into left field. Going back, that's going to be played off the wall. Kiersey is going to come in to score. And Gillette's going to be on at second with a double. So RBI double from Joe Gillette will make this a 2-1 ball game here in the bottom of the fourth.
Well, this is exactly why the Chinooks would like to finish this inning so that does count. So that this would not be a tie game if we would restart at the top of the inning, but that this would be um, the Nooks lead.
First pitch to Tyler Walters, down low, ball one. Still nobody down here in the bottom of the fourth. Rain continuing to fall. Don't know if and when we'll see it stop falling. Because look at the field behind it that's not turf, and the infield is just it's a water slide out there.
We could go swimming.
The 1-0. Upstairs, ball two. 2-0 to Walters. And time will be called, and it looks like they are going to send this into a delay. So we will step aside. We'll keep our feed running, and we'll have our mics muted in case there's any further changes. But until further notice, this game is on a rain delay, so I think we have to wait at least 15 minutes before they can do anything. Does that sound right?
I think that does.
So hopefully we'll be back in 15 minutes to give you an update. But right now, We're in the bottom of the fourth with a 2-0 count to Tyler Walters. Chinooks on top 2-1.
It's wet, it's soggy. Get your galoshes, but we're going to keep playing baseball here in Alaska. Back here, we are going to right where we left off. Batting for the Pilots, number 15, Tyler Walters.
Thank you for that introduction, Jackson. As we're back underway, somehow, some way, the rain, at least for now, has stopped. We'll see how long it'll stop because the forecast not in our favor. So we'll see how that goes. But it is a 2-0 count to Tyler Walters, with still nobody down. 2-1 game. Chinooks on top. So Brody Harris still on the mound for the Chinooks, and now Walters will call for time. So Walters getting back and settled in the right-handed batter's box. Joe Gillette, the runner at second, had an RBI double back before the delay started. The 2-0 popped up. It'll go back foul out of play. So we thank those of you for sticking around through the rain delay, just a short 11-minute rain delay. The 2-1 fouled back by Walters. And that'll make it a 2-2 count. Two and two, the count to Tyler Walters, the Pilots catcher. We'll check on Gillette at second. He'll be back in time. Lights again are on here in Anchorage. Starting to see some sprinkles coming down. The 2-2. Hit on the ground, left side. Millard will field it. Looks back. Gillette at second. Goes over to first in time for out number one. Nate Eichhoff up to the plate. One down, bottom of the fourth. As we're trying to get this first game of what's supposed to be a doubleheader. I'd be surprised if we can get all the way through this one first. We'll worry about the doubleheader if we get there. First pitch to Nate Eichhoff. Popped up towards center field. Zach Sanford arranging over. He'll make the grab. Joe Gillette's going to try and tag up from second. He'll be able to do so. So Gillette now at third with two down. Brings up Jack Gerstenmaier. So Jack Gerstenmaier up to the plate. Bold strategy. No tape on the bat. Also no batting gloves. So see if he has enough grip to hold on to this bat. First pitch to him. Taken for a called strike one. Gerstenmaier grounded out to short his first time up. Here's the 0-1. Swing and a miss. He'll fall behind 0-2. Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Gerstenmaier goes down on strikes. That'll do it for the bottom of the fourth. 4 innings in the books here in Anchorage. Chinooks on top by a 2-1 score. And we're back here to start the top of the fifth inning between the Chinooks and the Glacier Pilots. Zach Sanford up to the plate. He'll show a bunt, pulls it back. That's ball one. Top of the fifth inning, Chinooks on top 2-1. Here's the 1-0. Swing and a miss from Sanford evens it up at 1-1. New pitcher on the hill for the Pilots. It'll be Tyler Oldenburg coming in relief of Trent Lunsford. Here's the 1-1. Down low, ball two. This will be Oldenburg's 8th appearance on the summer. 12 and a third innings pitched. The 2-1. Chopped back up the middle. Oldenburg will jump and grab it. Gets it over to first in time for out number one. That'll bring Will Bass up to the plate for the Chinooks. Some more numbers on Oldenburg. 0-1 record. 15 strikeouts to just one walk, a 4.38 ERA. First pitch to Bass. Misses for ball one. Bass 1 for 1 on the day, had a triple in the first, drew a walk in the third. The 1-0. That one's hit back just foul right behind home plate. So 1-1 the count to Will Bass as he has to mosey his way back over to that left-handed batter's box. One on the count to Will Bass. Here's the 1-1. Hit on the ground towards second. Ritter will field it, gets it over to Gerstenmeyer in time. Out number two. That brings Mason Mallard up to the plate with two down here in the top of the fifth. Chinooks on top 2-1. First pitch to Mallard. Down and in, ball one. Mallard 0 for 2 today with a flyout and a strikeout. The 1-0 misses outside, ball two. The 2-0 grounded left side. It'll go foul. Two on the count to Mason Mallard. Getting the start in left field today for the Chinooks. Here's the 2-1. Mallard shows bunt, but offers at it for strike two. Here's the 2-2. Tried to check his swing, but ends up going all the way around for strike three. So that'll do it for the top of the fifth inning. Chinooks still on top by a 2-1 score as we enter the bottom of the fifth. And back we are to start the bottom of the fifth inning here from Mulcahy Stadium in Anchorage, Alaska. Chinooks on top by a 2-1 score. Lance Morris alongside me is Jackson Beck. Luke Ritter up to the plate first for the Pilots. First pitch to him, catches the outside corner, called strike one. Here's the 0-1. Inside, called strike two. 0-2 the count to the second baseman Ritter. The 0-2. Outside, ball one. The 1-2 grounded towards short. Alvarez will field it. Gets it over to Whisker at first in time. Out number one. That brings Tanner Sanders up to the plate. One down here. Bottom of the fifth inning. Chinooks up 2-1. Brody Harris, your starter, still on the hill for the Chinooks. First pitch to Sanders. Check swing. That one's hit left side. Millardo barehanded, but pulls Whisker off the bag. So Sanders will be safe over there on the throwing error by Millard. Brings RJ Cordero up to the plate. One down, bottom of the fifth. First pitch for Cordero. He'll swing and miss at for strike one.
Cordero walked his first at bat. Did not go past first as Harris knocked him down after that.
Here's the 0-1. Down and outside. 1-1 the count. One and one the count to Cordero, the 1-1. Thinks about it, but he'll hold up, it appears, and they say he did hold up. That's ball two. Sanders, the runner at first for the Pilots, reached on an error by Millard at third. The 2-1. Swing and a miss, evens it up 2-2. Harris will check on Sanders. He'll dive back safely over at first. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Cordero goes down on strikes. Fourth strikeout today for Brody Harris. Brings us back to the top of the order for Kyle Watson. He comes to play with two down here in the bottom of the fifth.
Watson is 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts today. Harris has, as you say, got his number down.
First pitch in, he'll think about, but he'll hold up at that one is low for ball one. Watson, the shortstop from Ole Miss. The 1-0. Fouls that one back. Evens it up at 1-1. The 1-1. Outside ball two makes it 2-1 the count. Sanders gets his lead off first. The 2-1. Swing and a miss from Watson. They'll check down at Sanders on the throw from Hill. He'll still dive back safely. But it evens the count once again at 2-2. Watson looking to avoid going down for the third straight time. The 2-2 stays outside. Ball 3 makes it a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Watson.
Big pitch for Brody Harris, trying to work out of another jam uh, in the bottom of the 5th inning.
The 3-2. That one's foul. The back will hit the reset button, do it again at 3-2. Remains full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kyle Watson. Here in the bottom of the 5th, Chinooks up 2-1. The 3-2. Got him, looking called. Strike 3. Watson will go down on strikes for the 3rd straight time. That'll do it for the bottom of the 5th. Through 5, Chinooks on top by a 2-1 score here in Anchorage. And we're back here to start at the top of the 6th inning between the Chinooks and the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. Hunter Vansoff first up. First pitch to him. He'll foul right back. After Hunter Vansoff, it'll be Tim Millard and Aaron Shackelford coming up to the plate. The 0-1. Swinging a miss there from Vansaw. He'll fall behind 0-2. Vansaw down the count 0-2 to Tyler Oldenburg. Here's the 0-2. Thinks about it, but that'll miss for ball 1. Here's the 1-2. Thinks about it. They will say he did go around for strike 3. So that's out number 1 here in the top of the 6th. That brings Tim Millard up to the plate with 1 down here in the top of the 6th. Chinooks maintain their 2-1 lead so far.
Millard 1 for 2 with a nice double down the left field line his last at bat.
First pitch to him will miss for ball 1 as it gets away from the catcher Walters. Here's the 1-0. Hit on the ground towards second. Ritter will field it. Gets it over to Gerstenmeyer first in time for out number 2. It brings Aaron Shackelford up to the plate with 2 down here in the top of the 6th. Just a 7-inning game here in what potentially could be a doubleheader if the weather stays as it does right now. Of course, we'll see if they reevaluate the field conditions anyway, even if it stops raining. First pitch to Shaq will be inside for ball 1. Shaq 0 for 1 today with a walk and a flyout. He'll try to check his swing, but he did go around for strike 1. Here's the 1-1. Fouls that one back. Makes it a 1-2 count. Shaq in the DH spot for the Chinooks today. Would think he goes out to shortstop if we do play the second game of the doubleheader. The 1-2 will bounce way in front of the plate for ball 2. Here's the 2-2. Down to the turf once again, makes it a full count, 3-2 to Shaq. Full count, 3-2 to Shaq. 2 down, top of the 6th. Here's the 3-2. Fouls that one back, stays alive at 3-2. Count remains full at 3-2. Here's the 3-2. Again, fouled right back. We'll again do it again at 3-2. The 3-2. Hit right back up the middle, but Oldenburg will field it. Gets it over to Gerstenmeyer first in time. Out number 3. So I'll do it for the top of the 6th. Chinooks go down 1-2-3. They continue to maintain their 2-1 lead over the Pilots. And we're back here to start the bottom of the 6th inning between the Chinooks and the Pilots. First pitch to Sean Kiersey in there, called strike 1. After Kiersey, it'll be Joe Gillette and Tyler Walters coming up for the Pilots. Here's the 0-1. Down low, ball 1, 1-1 the count. Chinooks on top by a 2-1 score. Rain lightly coming down here in Anchorage. And that'll miss down outside ball. 2-1 the count. Here's the 2-1. Hit on the ground towards first. Ethan Whisker will field it. Takes over to first himself for out number 1. It brings Joe Gillette up to the plate with 1 down, bottom of the 6th inning. Here's the first pitch to Gillette. Misses low for ball 1.
Harris throwing well right now. Through 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, and 1 earned run. Starting to get into a rhythm here against the Pilots.
The 1-0 will miss down and in ball 2. So Gillette jumps up in the count 2-0 on Harris. The 2-0. Down into the turf, ball 3.
They top that all off. Has 5 strikeouts, pretty much averaging 1 per inning.
Here's the 3-0. In there for a called strike 1. 3-1 the count to Joe Gillette. The 3-1. Fouled right back. Makes it a full count, 3-2. Gillette drove in the only run today for the Pilots. He did that on an RBI double back in the 4th. The 3-2. And that one's launched way up as Gillette definitely got under that. Mallard going over. He'll be the guy to make the catch for out number 2. That brings up Tyler Walters with 2 down here in the bottom of the 6th. Chinooks on top by a 2-1 score. First pitch to Walters. In there called strike 1. The 0-1. Down low, ball 1, 1-1 the count. The 1-1. Fouled back for strike 2 as the rain starts to come down a little harder here in Anchorage. The 1-2. Misses up and outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count to Walters. Here's the 2-2. That'll miss outside. Makes it a full count once again. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the 3-2. That one's popped way up right side. Just out of the infield. Hunter Vansalt will call off Will Bass. Makes the grab for out number 3. So that'll do it for the bottom of the 6th. Chinooks on top 2-1 as we enter the 7th inning. And back we are to start the top of the 7th inning here at Mulcahy Stadium. Ethan Whisker first up to the plate. He'll ground that one softly down the line. He's safe down at first after beating it out for an infield single. Didn't hit that ball too well, but fortunate enough for him, he'll be on with an infield single. So it brings Isaac Alvarez up to the plate. Nobody out on top of the 7th. Chinooks on top by a 2-1 score. First pitch Alvarez shows bunt. Tries to lay it down. Unable to do so. That's strike one. Alvarez 0 for 2 today with a line out and a fly out. Both of them to the second baseman. Here's the 0-1. Tries to lay down the bunt again, but it'll go back foul. Into the count to Isaac Alvarez. Here's the 0-2. Did not go around. Whisker will try to advance. He will. So he'll advance on the passed ball.
Using those big, lunky legs to get to second base is Whisker.
One and two, the count to Alvarez. Whisker, the runner at second with nobody down. Here's the 1-2. Hit down the right field line. That'll go foul. Count remains 1-2 to Isaac Alvarez, the sophomore from Chandler Gilbert Community College. Here's the 1-2. Down and inside, ball 2. 2-2 the count. It's 2-2 the count to Isaac Alvarez, the Chinook shortstop. Whisker, the runner at second, nobody holding him on. The 2-2. Down and in once again. That's ball 3. Makes it a full count, 3-2 to Alvarez. Here's the 3-2. Hit on the ground towards second. Ritter will field it. Gets it over to Gerstenmeyer first in time for the out. So basically does the same job as a sacrifice bunt as he is able to advance Whisker from second to third. So now there's just one out here in the top of the 7th with a runner at third and Ethan Whisker. Rain once again starting to come down hard here in Anchorage. Not quite as evident on the camera, although if you look towards center field, you can definitely see it, aside from the dripping going on in front of you. First pitch to Ben Hill, down low, ball 1. Hill on the day, 1 for 2, had a single back in the 4th. Here's the 1-0. Down low, ball 2, 2-0 the count.
As you can even see on some of the guys' helmets. I don't know if you guys can see this from the far camera view, but rain falling down in front of the guys' faces. Why they keep shaking their heads, trying to get the rain pellets out of their eyes.
The 2-0. Swing and a miss. Falls behind 2-1 does Oldenburg. This is the third inning of relief for Oldenburg in relief of Trent Lunsford. The 2-1. Down low, ball 3, 3-1 the count to catcher Ben Hill.
Nooks have the opportunity. Can they take advantage of trying to put on a couple more insurance runs to give Brody Harris some definite pitching abilities?
That'll be ball 4. Gets away from Walters. And that allows Whisker to come in and score from third. So on the walk, we'll see a run come in to score on the passed ball. 3-1. Chinooks on top. So that brings up Zach Sanford to the plate. One down here in the top of the 7th. Chinooks on top by a 3-1 score over the Anchorage Glacier Pilots. First pitch to Sanford. And they're called strike 1. Sanford 0 for 1 today, drew a walk and grounded out so far at the plate. Here's the 0-1. Swings and misses, falls behind 0-2. And probably also difficult to keep a good grip on that bat as there's only a little bit of tape on there, only enough for one of his two hands. So 0-2 the count to Sanford. Ben Hill, the runner at first with one down. Here's the 0-2. Thinks about it. That'll briefly get away from Walters. Hill trying to advance a second. He'll slide in there safely. So another one that gets away from Walters. One and two, the count to Sanford as he's attempting to use his pants to dry off his bat a little bit. Don't know how effective that'll be because I'm sure his pants are pretty wet too. But that's just my guess. So 1-2 the count to Zach Sanford. Ben Hill over at second. The 1-2. Down and outside, ball 2. 2-2 the count to Zach Sanford. Here's the 2-2. Down into the turf. Hill tries to advance again. Slides in safely down at third. So some good base running by Ben Hill. Gets down to third. And it's a full count to Zach Sanford with one down. Full count, 3-2 to Zach Sanford. One down. A runner at third and Ben Hill. The 3-2. Swing and a miss. Sanford goes down on strikes. He's out number 2 here in the top of the 7th. That'll bring Will Bass up to the plate with 2 down, top of the 7th inning. Chinooks up by a 3-1 score. Could add another run if they can bring in Ben Hill from third. First pitch to Bass. Big swing and a miss for strike one. Bass on the day, 1 for 2. Had a triple to start off this contest. Also drew a walk in the third. Here's the 0-1. Chopped on the ground towards Oldenburg. Oldenburg will take it over to first himself for out number 3. So that'll do it for the top of the 7th inning. Chinooks add on one more run. They lead 3-1 heading into the bottom of the 7th. And welcome back as we are about to start the bottom of the 7th, the final inning of this shortened contest. As Brody Harris is out there trying to go the complete 7. And pinch hitter for the Pilots, Duke Kinnaman, will come up in place of Nate Eichhoff. First pitch to Kinnaman. Tries to lay down the bunt. He'll offer for strike 1. Kinnaman offering again for a called strike 2.
Kinnaman, another Pilot who's struggling, only hitting 176, 5 doubles, 1 triple, 5 RBIs, but has stolen 5 bases.
Here's the 0-2. Swing and a miss. Kinnaman goes down on strikes. That's the 6th strikeout today for Brody Harris. Jack Gerstenmeyer up to the plate, 1 down, bottom of the 7th. Chinooks on top by a 3-1 score. First pitch to Gerstenmeyer, up and away, ball 1. That one's popped out towards left field. Mallard going back, and that one out of here. A solo shot from Gerstenmeyer. Luckily for that insurance run in the top of the 7th, Chinooks maintain a 3-2 lead. First home run of the summer for Gerstenmeyer comes at a pretty good time, makes it a 1-run game. Brings Luke Ritter up to the plate. First pitch to Ritter. Catches the outside corner, called strike 1. Here's the 0-1. And that one's hit on the line out towards left field. That drops in front of Mason Mallard for a base hit. So a couple of hits in a row now for the Pilots, is now the tying run at first go-ahead run coming to the plate with looks like another pinch hitter. So Nick Orr will pinch hit for Tanner Sanders. We're hitting 171 on the summer. Looks like someone warming up in the Chinook bullpen, but with our angle, can't quite tell who it is.
I believe it's Robert Winslow, but I'm not positive.
First pitch to Orr will miss for ball one. Here's the 1-0. He'll go around as he tried to hold up. That's strike one. 1-1 the count to Nick Orr, another one of the guys from Stanford. The 1-1. Down low ball, 2-1 the count. 2-1 the count to Nick Orr. Luke Ritter, the runner at first. The 2-1. Misses inside ball 3. 3-1 now. Three and 1 the count to Nick Orr. One down, bottom of the seventh, 3-2. Chinooks on top. Here's the 3-1. In there, called strike two. Makes it a full count, 3-2 to Orr. Rain still coming down, but not as hard as it was earlier. The 3-2. That'll miss low, ball 4. So Orr draws the walk. Puts runners at first and second with one down. We'll have another pinch hitter. Looks like Jeremiah Burks will come up to the plate for RJ Cordero.
Burke's just hitting 130 in 46 at-bats.
So Burks will come up to the plate in a big spot. Runners at first and second, and now Chris Beck going to go out and talk to Brody Harris. And you'd think they'd give him a chance to finish what he started, but we'll see if that's the case. And they will go to the pen, so that'll do it for Brody Harris. New pitcher coming in for the Chinooks. We'll tell you who that is here in a moment. Chinooks on top 3-2, but the Pilots have runners on first and second. And back we are, bottom of the 7th inning, the last inning in this double header. Well, it's supposed to be a double header, so we'll see how that goes. But Jeremiah Burks up to pinch hit for RJ Cordero. New pitcher on the hill for the Chinooks. It'll be Preston White. First pitch to Burks in there, called strike one. Tying run at second, go-ahead run at first for the Pilots. Here's the 0-1. Down and outside, 1-1 on the count to Burks. Preston White, some numbers on him. 11th appearance this summer, has 5 saves, 16 and 2/3 innings pitched, 13 strikeouts to 4 walks, a 2.30 ERA. The 1-1 in there, called strike two. 1-2 the count to Jeremiah Burks. Burks, another one of those guys from Fresno State, actually pinch hit for his Fresno State teammate in Cordero. The 1-2. Fouls that one off, stays alive at 1-2. Count remains 1-2 to Jeremiah Burks. Getting his first at-bat today in a big spot. The 1-2. Just inside for ball 2. 2-2 the count.
Preston looking for a ground ball to end the game here.
The 2-2. Just barely fouled off by Burks. Didn't get much of anything of that ball, just enough to stay alive at 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes to count to Jeremiah Burks. Tying run at second, winning run at first for the Pilots. The 2-2. Thinks about it. Did not go around, says Justin Phillips, the first base umpire. That'll make it a full count, 3-2 to Burks. One of the bigger spots we've seen Preston White come into the game for. The 3-2. Launched down the left field line. Fair ball. Pilots are going to tie this game, and Mason slides down in the outfield. The throw to the plate. Got him at the plate. This game not done yet. Thought the Pilots were about to win off of the outfield being slick, but they will instead tie the game at 3-3, 2 down, but Burks does get all the way to third.
Watson coming up. He's K'd 3 times in this game.
Which means he's due for a hit, based on that logic. So we'll see. We'll see. This would probably be the last thing either team wants to do is go into extra innings in this game. Watson going to pop that one out towards center field. Zach Sanford going back, makes the grab. So it looks like we're going to be playing some more innings here in this doubleheader game. 3-3 your score as we'll be going to an 8th inning. And we're back here from Mulcahy Stadium as we go to the top of the 8th. And normally that's not a big deal, but today was supposed to be double headers, so only 7-inning games, but some extracurricular activities and stuff happened in the 7th. And here we are to start the 8th. Mason Mallard up to the plate. First pitch to him. Called to strike one on the outer half. After Mason will be Hunter Vansaw and Tim Millard due up. The 0-1. Inside, ball 1. Tyler Oldenburg still on the hill for the Pilots. Came in back in the 5th. Here's the 1-1. Swing and a miss there. 1-2 the count. Mallard on the day 0 for 3, couple strikeouts and a flyout. The 0-2. Swing and a miss as Mallard goes down on strikes for the 3rd time today. That's out number 1 here in the top of the 8th. That brings Hunter Vansaw to the plate. 1 down, 3-3 your score. First one to Vansaw popped out towards right field. Gillette going back. He'll make the catch just shy of the wall. So that'll be out number 2 in the top of the 8th. That'll bring Tim Millard up to the plate with 2 down. Game all tied up at 3 apiece. First pitch to Millard. Big swing and a miss for strike 1. Millard 1 for 3 today, had a double back in the 4th. The 0-1. Just outside, 1-1 the count. Here's the 1-1. And that one's launched out towards deep left field, caught against the wall. That time by the replacement left fielder, Nick Orr. And Tim Millard just missed putting the Chinooks up by 1. And we'll head into the bottom of the 8th tied at 3. Welcome back as we're starting the bottom of the 8th. Chinooks and the Pilots tied at 3 apiece. It's Morse alongside Jackson back for this one. Jean Kersey up to the plate. First pitch to him, up and away, ball 1. Preston White still on the hill for the Chinooks. Came in relief of Brody Harris in last inning. The 1-0 down and away, ball 2. Kiersey 1 for 2 today, had a single in the first, and then drew a walk his next time up. The 2-0. That one's popped foul on the left side. Two and one the count to Kiersey. The 2-1. Swing and a miss evens it up 2-2. And Kiersey needing a little bit of pine tar as just about everything's slick here in Anchorage. We'll also have a towel for the barrel of the bat. Two and two the count. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Nobody down. The 2-2. Just missing for ball 3. 3-2. And as you might expect, rain still coming down here in Anchorage. The 3-2 is going to be fouled right back. We'll do it again at 3-2. The 3-2. Popped up towards center field. Zach Sanford going over. And he'll make the grab for out number 1. One down, bottom of the 8th. Chinooks and the Pilots all tied up at 3 apiece. That'll bring Joe Gillette up to the plate. Gillette on the day, 1 for 3 with an RBI double in the 4th. First pitch to him. Upstairs, ball 1. Gillette, the outfielder from Oregon State. The 1-0. Inside, ball 2. 2-0 the count to Joe Gillette with the 2-0. Swing and a miss, 2-1. Two on the count to Joe Gillette as Tyler Walters waits on deck. He'll think about it. Does not go around. Makes it a 3-1 count to Gillette. The 3-1. Fouls that one off as his bat goes almost all the way out to shortstop. Definitely much farther than the ball went. Wish I could say that I was surprised at that one due to all the rain, but I am not surprised one bit. As the rain continues to come down here at Anchorage, and again, if you're having trouble seeing it, look out towards center field where there's not any signs on the wall or advertisements, and you can definitely see how it's coming down. So it makes it a full count 3-2 to Gillette as he gets some pine tar and attempts to dry off the bat. The 3-2. And that'll miss for ball 4. So Gillette will draw the walk. So the winning run for the Pilots is over at first, and Joe Gillette. Tyler Walters now up to the plate. And time will be called so Gillette can get his elbow shield off. First pitch to Walters. Gillette on the move, That's popped out towards center field. Sanford's going to make the grab. Gillette doesn't even think about it. The throw not in time, though, so Gillette very fortunate, to say the least, that he was not doubled up. But now there's 2 down here in the bottom of the 8th. And 3 out of the last 4 batters have flown out to center field in Zach Sanford. Now Duke Kinnaman up to the plate. 2 down, bottom of the 8th. Winning run for the Pilots on first, and Joe Gillette was nearly doubled up after trying to get a jump start. And Preston Witt will check on him over at first. He's back in time. Kinnaman up to the plate for the second time today. He struck out his first time up. First pitch to him. Up high, ball 1. Gillette with 11 steals on the summer. 4 times he's been caught, though. The 1-0, Gillette on the move. The throw from Hill not in time. So that'll put Gillette into scoring position with 2 down. Two and 0 the count to Kinnaman. As again, rain continuing to pound the field here in Anchorage. Here's the 2-0. Launch down the left field line. That's a fair ball. Gillette's going to round third. He's going to come in to score the winning run for the Pilots. So the Pilots will walk it off on an RBI double for Kinnaman. They win by a score of 4-3. So we're now going to briefly step aside as we figure things out, and hopefully we'll get a player of the game interview and figure out if there will be a game 2. So stick around, folks. And thank you, fans, for sticking around here with Will Bass for our post-game interview. Well, fourth time you've got this honor, but it's mostly because you started off today's game with a pretty big triple. So what were you seeing up there at the plate?
Leading off the game, he's a lot of guys like to throw a lot of fastballs. They don't want to show their stuff too early. This pitcher made it pretty clear that he was going to throw fastballs and he was going to challenge me by throwing me inside. And I was blessed enough to get another fastball in 3-2 count, and put a pretty good barrel on it and went where the fielders went.
And that's something Tucker would be very proud of, because that's one of the things he likes to say all the time: "Hit it where they ain't." Easier said than done. So you also were able to draw a walk, and then Mason had the double play to where you were stuck out to dry. There was nothing you could do on that play, but you were able to play a good second base today. A lot of good things in the field. So what was going on in the field? I know the turf might have been a little slick today.
The turf was definitely slick. The ball had some pretty good skip to it. And, we've played these guys enough times to where it makes it a little bit easier to position yourself. And it worked out a few times and got some balls and, just catch the ball and throw it.
And obviously with the rain going on all day, it's been a long day already. We had to wait as long as we did just to play the game. So how much of an impact did pushing the game back and back have on not only you but the rest of the guys?
It's tough when in those situations. Makes it a little bit harder when you come out. You're getting your mind prepared to come out and play a game right away. Messes with the preparation a little bit, but one of the things we try really hard to do is feed ourselves with positive energy the whole way through. Staying engaged. When the rain comes and the game's going on, then there's a short mentality to where you can take yourself out for a little bit, relax, and but when the game starts kicking back up, then it's right back to winning mentality.
And here you are, player of the game, Will Bass. Will, you were the last person I talked to, and here we are once again. Will, thanks for coming up.
Thank you.
And we could have another game too. Has not been officially canceled. We'll see if it happens. It's starting to clear up. Stay tuned to Twitter to see if we play another game here in Anchorage.